I can't stop making tofu ricotta lately. It's really easy to throw together. You can use it in lasagna, as a pasta sauce, or in these tofu ricotta stuffed shells. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I do share new recipes every single week. And leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if you try this recipe out. I love hearing from you. So good news, tofu ricotta is super simple to make. It only takes about 5 minutes. We're gonna combine that with some jumbo pasta shells, a couple of veggies, and your favorite store-bought pasta sauce. So let's get cooking. Tear the tofu into large chunks and then add it to a food processor. I'm using a standard blade attachment here. I will be using one 14-ounce block of firm tofu. You could also use extra firm tofu, but soft will not work here. Next up, add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's from about half of a large lemon. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Any other neutral oil would also work. And we're going to blend that for about 30 seconds until it is super smooth. If you're doing this part by hand, you're not gonna get as smooth of a result, but you can just mash everything together using a potato masher or even a fork. Next, we'll dissolve 1 teaspoon of miso in water. This makes it so that the miso blends better into the ricotta. We're also adding in 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast for that cheesy flavor, a half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of white sugar. We're also adding a tablespoon of salt-free Italian seasoning. You can omit this if you just want a plain ricotta flavor. Process that on low until everything is well combined. Now, if you're making a plain ricotta, you can just stop here. But if you want to make an herby ricotta, we're going to add in half a cup of fresh parsley leaves, and we're also adding in half a cup of basil leaves. At this point, you can process it on low so that it turns this vivid green color, or you can just pulse it to break down the herbs so that it doesn't change the color of the tofu ricotta. Once you've got that ricotta made, we're going to chop up some veggies. I am using baby bella mushrooms and spinach. We are going to roughly chop up both of them because we do not want big pieces in the ricotta, or it's gonna be kind of difficult to stuff the shells. This has heated over medium-high heat, so I'm gonna add some oil. I'm using olive oil. You can use any neutral oil. And we'll add those mushrooms first. Add a sprinkle of salt to draw out the moisture. And some flavor, of course. And we'll cook this for about 6 to 8 minutes. You want this to shrink up a fair amount and you want them to become golden. All right, that's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in that chopped spinach. And most importantly, plenty of garlic. Keep going. As much as your heart desires. Oh, and my heart desires a lot of garlic. And we'll just cook that until the spinach wilts. It should really only be about 1 minute. As you can see, it's going quickly. Okay, so let's combine the ricotta and those veggies. And use a spatula to just fold that together. And now we just put it all together. I'm using an 8x8 pan and a jar of pasta sauce. Coat the bottom with about 2 cups of pasta sauce. Leave a little extra in case you want to drizzle some on top. You want to make like a little bed for the pasta, so make sure you have enough to really coat the bottom. I recommend rinsing your pasta shells with some water before filling them, or they're going to be way too hot to use. Take a spoonful and just plop it on in there. It's a little more than a tablespoon if you want to be specific, and then just put it down. Rinse and repeat. We're probably going to fit about 15 in here. Now from here, if you so desire, you can add a little extra sauce on top. And now to the oven we go. For the first 15 minutes, we are going to cover this. So I'm just using a sheet pan and I'll throw it in the oven for 15 minutes. Now for my favorite part. Let's serve up some stuffed shells. Oh my goodness. Okay, what gets me is it legit tastes like tofu. I mean, no. Was that a slip? No. It seriously tastes like ricotta. It's not ricotta, it's tofu. 10 out of 10, recommend. Let me know if you try this recipe out. I do share new recipes every single week, mostly vegan, sometimes vegetarian, always plant-based.